Ring a ding ding, class is in session.
We are here.
Welcome back to Two Peas on a Quad.
Yup.
The number one podcast in
In
the world.
Not the world, the universe. What?
Exactly. Every single galaxy.
They voted and they're like, come on
Yeah.
now, the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, how was your week?
I mean, I'm still alive.
That's good.
It's been a bit rough. My
Ooh.
mom has been driving me to work this week.
Oh no.
Because I told her that I felt like I get too distracted when I drive. Like I think I have like I think I maladaptive daydream,
Right.
and it's gotten I think it's gotten a little out of hand, and I've had like one too many close calls. And so driving has become very stressful for me because I'm worried about like losing focus, even though like I try not to. Like I'm not actively like distracting myself. I try my best to like keep focused, and then next thing I know I'm like, whoa, and like I have to hit the brakes, you know? So I
Yeah.
told her that like it's gotten a little stressful because of that. So she's like, okay, well, why don't I like try, driving you to work this week, so it could be a little less stressful. And I was like, okay, at least until I get, a therapist squared away, which that's still in the works. They have not called me back.
No.
So I'm gonna call him tomorrow. But yeah, so she's been driving me, and it's actually been very good because I am a lot less stressed.
Yeah. And it's a nice
So
break, probably.
yeah, and she was like, you need to get a job near where I work so we could do this all the time. I was like, oh yeah, true. So I mean, whatever. But I mean, work has been weird.
Weird.
Yeah, today was like the energy of today has just been absolutely atrocious. Like absolutely atrocious. Not even just at work, just in general. In the world, the energy today is so fucking weird.
A lot going on.
There's like dissent everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And but at work today, someone had like called the office to pay their like membership fee. And when it comes to membership fees, like we have until like a certain date that they can pay, and then after that date they have to pay an additional like late fee, I guess. It's called a reinstatement fee, but it's kind of like a late fee. And the cutoff date was June 30th. So any membership payment after June 30th has to be like done as like a reinstatement, just because like those are the dates from like our international like office, and anything after that we have to pay extra. So this guy calls and he's like, I want to renew my membership. And I was like, okay, well, just letting you know, because, it's past the cutoff date, it's going to be an additional 125. And he like laughed, and he started like arguing with me over it.
As if you can change the rules.
As if I could do anything about that. And he was like, okay, well, was I notified of this? I was like, you were sent a notice, because they're sent like 5 notices to pay.
Oh my god, before they have that charge.
Yeah, and also he had 6 months. He had
So this is
between
his issue. He's been putting it
literally
off. Yeah.
he had between January 1st and June 30th 6 fucking months to pay this.
Oh my god.
I was like, bro, it is August. There is 4 months left of the year. What? Like, no, I can't. And then he was like, yes, but did it say on the thing that it would be a 125 charge if it was past a certain date? Because I don't recall it saying that. I don't recall ever knowing of that date, and da 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 da. And I was like, well, I'm not sure. He was like, so no. And I was like, well, I don't know. I can't really say. I haven't looked at it, but I guess. He was like, so we can both agree it did not say that. I was like, okay.
He was trying to gaslight you.
He was like, so we could both agree that it didn't say that. So I feel like you should probably waive it. And I was like,
first of all, do you even have the power to waive it?
no, I'm not the financial person. I'm not
No,
the financial
exactly.
person. if I make any decisions like that without asking someone first,
You
like
could get
I could
fired.
probably, well, not really, but like I could get yelled at and I don't want to get yelled at,
True.
you know? So I was like, well, not for nothing, but it like you had 6 months to pay it. Like I was like, well, you did have like 6 months to pay, but like he wouldn't listen to me. He just kept like talking over me and being
Mhm.
like, I think you should waive it because it doesn't say it on the thing. I was like, how do you know if you didn't fucking read it, huh? Like I was like, bro, like
Oh my
it's
god.
August. You had from like December 31st, 2021, January 1st, 2022 until June 30th of 2022 to pay your fucking dues. And now you're trying to give me a hard time?
Oh
Like,
my god.
and so I just got sick of him and I was like, mind you, I didn't even give you the best part. It's like 9:30 in the morning when this call happens.
Oh, so this is like one of the first calls you get.
This is the first call I
The
get.
first call.
I
Okay.
walked in at like 9 o'clock. I sit down, I get all set up. By then, it's like 9:30 after I get all my food in the refrigerator. I get all my bag unpacked and stuff like that. I get all settled. Literally, like the first call I fucking get at 9:30 in the fucking morning. Maybe
Uh-uh.
even a little earlier than that.
Mm-mm. I
I was
couldn't do
so
it.
over it. I was like, really pointedly, I was like, well, why don't I put you on hold and see if I can get that done for you, sir? And he was like, and in the middle of him speaking, I just put him on hold. And I just sat there. I was like,
Jesus Christ.
oh my God. And so I walk out of my office and I walk over to my coworker who's a financial person who's like a bit of a hard ass. And I was like, someone's on line one arguing with me over paying a reinstatement fee because he decided to pay his dues 8 months into the year. And she was like, I got it. So she
Oh
sat
my
down,
god.
she fucking reamed him and she got him to pay the thing.
Oh my god. Well, dang.
And then that was not like the only stressful call I got. Someone else called who'd like been a member since the 60s. And he was
Oh.
like, he's like, I don't want to be a member anymore because your fucking organization is a joke. I was like, I mean, you're right, but
You're
it's
like,
like,
what am I supposed to do about it?
but I mean, he was like really valid because basically he just wanted to be involved with the events.
Yeah.
And he's been calling, the head of the chapters near him, and they just haven't been returning his calls.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah, and like this guy has been a member for 57 years. This guy
Right.
has been a member for longer than my mom has been alive. Like,
Insane.
so he yeah, so he was like he was over it. He was like, this is a bit of a disgrace. And I was like, I'm sorry. Like I didn't even know what to do to help him. I was like, I don't know
Right.
how to help you. But he had spoken to another one of my coworkers and I was like, let me see if she's available so you can chat with her. And so, he she ended up being like, I'm just gonna have to cancel him because he doesn't want to be a member anymore. I was like, so today has been weird.
It sounds like it.
How has your day been and how has your week
My
been?
day, honestly, today was it was
Mm-hmm.
weird. My sister has some friends over, so I spent most of the day cleaning because it was a really like last minute thing. But I kind of like doing that because it keeps my mind like
Occupied.
occupied. So I didn't mind doing that. So today was all right. Honestly, I'm gonna be real. I don't remember this past week at all. Like I genuinely have no recollection. Like not
No, like low key me
clue.
though.
Like, genuinely not a clue, like, it's been wiped from my brain, like, I was thinking earlier, I'm like, "What am I gonna say on the pod?" Because I genuinely can't remember a thing, and it's almost scary because it's all blank, but I don't
Yeah.
know, I literally have no idea. I mean, I was playing a lot of Animal Crossing the last, like, few weeks, so maybe that's why it's, like, merged, but, like, I swear I didn't even play it that much this week, so I don't even know what I did, but I swear I was busy too at the same time, but what did I do? Where was I? Like, genuinely, that was my week. Hopefully next week I'll remember. Who knows? You know something else I can't remember a lot of? School.
Oh, yeah, there we go. Yeah, today's episode is about school.
School.
Skewill.
We
School.
love
Or
school.
or as Marsha Brady and the newer Brady bunch says,
School.
skew.
Oh my god.
Have
I
you
forgot
seen
about
that
that.
clip?
I used to be obsessed with that movie.
have you
Oh
have
my
you
god.
that clip where Jan is like talking about someone, and she was like, I don't recognize him. I've never seen him at school. It's so
That was
funny.
everything. I love it. Oh my
But
god.
anyways, school, escuela,
School.
l'université.
School.
Let's talk about it.
What should we say about school?
I don't know. I mean,
Did you get good grades in school? I feel like you did.
well, here's the thing. I I didn't do poorly in school. There were some classes that I didn't perform well in, but that's because like the subject matter was difficult for me.
Mm,
So like math classes and physics that just math classes in general and classes that involved math were very difficult for me because mathematical concepts were a little they didn't really I didn't
click for
I
you.
yeah, I couldn't visualize them. I had a hard
Yeah.
time understanding them. But classes like so okay. So I went to normal public school for elementary school and middle school, and all throughout elementary school and middle school, I was part of not me flexing, wait, no, but this is funny. I was part of the talented and gifted program, which I'm convinced is just like the high functioning ADHD kids program.
Mm,
Um, but like we did like cool things. Like I remember in elementary school, we learned about like traditional Chinese calligraphy. We learned about like Egyptian hieroglyphics and all that kind of stuff. We learned about origami. Like we learned about like Leonardo da Vinci and stuff like that. We just learned about like cool stuff in that class. And I remember I would get to like leave my class like in the middle of the day and just like spend time in like the TNG room and
oh,
like
that's cool.
do crafts and stuff like that. It was really cool. And then in middle school I did that as well. And we learned how to play chess and we learned about um Robin Hood and like just all these like cool stuff. And we did like presentations about like cool things and I got to leave class for that as well. And that was really exciting. But then for high school, I went to a performing arts high school. Um, it was not like Victorious. um, it's kind of funny because like everyone like when they think about my school, they think it's like my high school. They think it's gonna be like that, and then like they ask us, they're like, "Oh, is it like Victorious?" And I'm like, "No."
Are you telling me
Like,
there's not a bunch of Trinas there? I feel like it'd mostly be Trinas.
well, here's the thing. At I don't think there was anyone that was bad at my school because you do have to like
Audition, right?
academically, yeah, you have to audition and my my high school was part of a campus of like five high schools
Mm.
and you had to test into it academically first in order to get an audition. So it's like
Oh.
considered it's the only school on the campus I think that has like a two-part application or admissions process. And it's
You
like one of
got
the
in?
yeah, it's like one of the hardest schools to get in. And I think either in my state or in my county. I think it's state. And because of that like two-part admissions thing, so it's
Yeah.
like you have to get a certain grade in the admissions test in order to even be offered an audition. And then you have to audition for it and then, get in. And it has to be your first choice. So like
Oh.
because you could choose like other schools. So it's like if there were like all these different other schools there and it was like there was like an IT school, an engineering school, a health school.
So they're like very
Um
specific for the things you wanted to
yeah, so
pursue,
they were it was like a college campus in a way,
but for high
um
school.
but for high school. And my school was the performing arts one and there was dance and theater and then eventually when I was already in it, they introduced technical theater, so like the lights and sound and props and set design. Um, I did enjoy going there though. It was a very fun school. It was very difficult though. My high school was like advanced. So the classes I was taking was like a grade ahead of what I should be taking.
Okay.
So I was taking like sophomore classes freshman year, especially since at my particular high school, my performing arts high school, I did 3 years there, and then my senior year I took at a college. That was, like, the program that they had. Um, so I was very stressed all the time. It was very difficult, but I graduated with a 3.87 GPA. So that
Whoa,
I kind of grinded that.
that's amazing.
Um, and it, it was fun to go there though, I have to say. I mean, my grade though was like my graduating class was like 50 people. It was really small. And whenever I say that, people are like, that's not a lot of people. Because it's funny, when I went to college, people were like, oh, yeah, my graduating class was really small. It was only like 200 people. I was like, I was like, my graduating class was 50.
That's insane.
And there were only 3 boys in my graduating class.
Oh, was there like not a lot of boys just in the school in general?
Yeah, it was a it was a bit of like a hen house, I have to say. I guess probably because of just the majors like theater and tech theater and dance. Although there were a lot of guys and a lot more guys in tech theater when it got introduced. But before that got introduced, it was just theater or dance. And so if there were any guys, usually they went to the theater area and there was only like 1 or 2 dance guys.
Hmm.
But yeah, you know, it's funny though because a lot of the girls ended up coming out as like lesbians.
I mean, makes sense.
I was like, it's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, my school was very interesting.
My high school was interesting too. It wasn't like a performing arts high school per se, but all of the money went into our theater program because we had like a one of the best ones, and like they always said the state, but I really don't think so. But we would spend like up to like $50,000 on our like little school plays. So it's like I feel like they would be like big, 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 big like things. They'd buy like the full rights to like really big musicals, and I'm like, okay,
What?
too much.
We didn't
Yeah.
even get that funding.
Really? Maybe
Eh,
I'm over exaggerating, but they used to be like, yeah, we spent like 30 grand on this play. And I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean? I don't know. I feel like they're lying. Maybe I'm lying. No, but they used to say that. But I don't know. My schools were always like, well, before high school, because my high school wasn't that bad, but like I went to school in Florida. So they were all kind of like shitty. I always had like straight A's and sometimes B's because like everything was super easy. I would never like show up to school actually. I'd miss probably like 3 days a week and still get like really good grades just because like you could like not be there for a whole lesson and you would still know everything because like the tests were so easy. Because they would like I don't know what it, if it's just Florida or what, but like literally you wouldn't even have to study. It's all like common sense. I don't know.
Man.
But with high school, I don't know. I only went to my sophomore year and then I'm like, I gotta go. And then I dropped out because I couldn't do it. It wasn't like, and it was weird because like I had great grades and they were like confused when I left because I was like, I had to like sign papers and stuff because I was only like 16. But
Mhm.
they were like, why are you leaving? You have such great grades. We need you. And I'm like, no. Bye. And they're like, you're not leaving. You're not doing it. And they were like convincing me to stay. And I'm like, I hate it here. 'Cause, like, I don't know, I had, like, a lot of issues with the teachers, cause like,
Mhm.
they were, like, crazy people, and also I was, like, severely depressed, so I'm like, "I can't do this."
Yeah.
The school's crazy.
I mean, I dropped out of college, like my sophomore year of college.
What is it with sophomore year?
I don't know. It was bad. Like I needed to leave. My parents like begged me to drop out. Like they were like, please come home. Did you okay? Because I feel like I mean school, sometimes I miss it. Do you sometimes miss school?
Okay, here's the thing, I don't ever miss it, but I always have nightmares every single night about, like, being back in school, and it always makes me think, like, I should never have, like, taken it so seriously, so, like, sometimes I have, like, little, like I don't know, like, thoughts in my mind where I live out, like, if I really didn't care. Like, I shouldn't
Mm-hmm.
have cared so much because I had such,
Yeah.
like, I was always like, "Oh, I gotta do this, I gotta do that,"
Mm-hmm.
and then I never, like, got to enjoy myself. Like, I had friends and stuff, but I always felt like this, like, pressure, And I'm like,
Yeah,
it really wasn't that serious. But, like, at the
I
time,
feel
it
that.
was in my head. But,
Yeah.
like, I miss it in a way where if I could go back in time, I literally would not have cared and, like, would have just, like, been chill instead
You
of,
would have
like,
done it
anxious all the
differently.
time. Yeah.
I feel that. I I miss it for that reason too, but I also just miss like um having something to do.
Yeah.
Like I miss I don't miss the homework. I don't because especially I don't know about you, but my high school piled on the homework, like so much
I
homework.
never did
Oh my
homework.
God. I had like 4 hours of homework a night. Like it was bad.
What the
And
hell?
it was so crazy. And so I don't necessarily miss that. I just miss like I don't know, like I miss just the culture of like being in like school and all you had to worry about was like, your tiny circle of your like graduating class. So it's like the drama that was consuming your life just had to do with that.
Yeah.
Like who's gonna take who to homecoming, or I didn't actually have homecoming at my school, but like who's gonna take who to the winter formal,
It wasn't
or
as serious as, like, issues you would have now as an adult.
yeah, like now I'm an adult and like my issues are like serious. I'm like,
Yeah, that's the part that I miss too because things were so easy back then. That's why I was saying I wish I didn't, like, care so much because I didn't
yeah,
realize the future would be a little bit more tough.
because I definitely spent my time just trying to get by school wise, and so I didn't really do much in the sense of like being a dumb teenager and like going to parties and shit. But then again, like I didn't have the friends that like really did that either. And I did go to like things because of like the big thing at my school, because it was a performing arts high school, was like cast parties.
Mm,
I went to a lot of cast parties, and the thing is I always like downplay my actual like adolescence, but I do have a lot of like funny like aesthetic teen moments that I experienced and shit. And like there's a lot of crazy experiences I had from school. And but like I don't know, I do miss like just the whole thing of like I don't know, being a teenager, a student, and like going to class and
it
having
it
to
was nice having somewhere to be.
yeah, it was nice like having that bit of structure,
Yeah,
and
because it got you
like
somewhere at a specific time, you're always home at a specific time.
yeah,
But the
and
I guess
even
it's the same thing with a job, but I guess it's more serious with a job.
yeah, with a job, it's like I don't know. I mean, it feels a little different with a job. Like at my job, I feel like I do the same thing every day because I do the same thing every day. But
Yeah.
like at school, it's like even if, you know, I don't know how your school was set up, but I had a block schedule. So I only had about 4 classes a day, but the classes were like an hour and change. And there were different days every day. So it's like
Yeah.
one day was an A day, another day was
Mm,
a B day.
B-Day, yeah. I had that
So
too.
okay, because I don't hear many people that have it, and then I stay and I have
Yeah,
to
I
like explain
prefer
it.
it because it keeps things, like I don't know, it makes you less depressed, I feel like because when
Yeah, I
everything's
feel
exactly
like,
the same, it's like it does make you upset and,
but
like,
also I
it
feel
feels
like
mundane.
it's a little easier to like retain the information,
Yeah, because
because
it
it's
gives your
like
brain, like, rest, and then it can
yeah, and
actually
also
think about it.
like I feel like it was a little easier for me to like actually pay attention because it wasn't like 8 classes in a day. It was like, okay, well, I have my B day classes today. So that's what I'm focusing on. I don't have to think about all my other ones. And when I get home and I do, my A day homework and I show up to school the next day, I just have to focus on the A day classes. So it's like, I like that. And I also like the lengthy classes. I feel like, you know, because I took a lot of advanced classes. So it was a little easier, to have the information because I was in class for like an hour or so. It was very strange though when I started there, like when I was in
Yeah.
my first year, because I was like, this is so weird. We're in class for so long, but I ended up preferring it.
Did your middle school have, like, multiple classes, or was it, like, you had, like, one teacher with a bunch of subjects?
My my middle school had multiple classes.
Okay.
So like I had a homeroom teacher, and then usually homeroom teacher was first period, and then different class for second period, and so on and so
Mhm.
forth, different
But it would be
teacher.
the same schedule every day.
Yeah,
Yeah. Me
basically, yeah.
too. I think that's why I hated middle school. I think I hated middle school even though I dropped out of high school, I hated middle school more than high school. Cause high school, at
Mm,
least, it felt like something new and I had a lot more friends there, but, like, middle school
yeah.
for me, like, I don't know what it was, there was nothing to look forward to. I even left middle school, like, in 7th grade to do online school because I couldn't do it. And then, like, obviously, like, I don't know, that didn't work out for me either, so I came back and I'm like, "Hi, guys." No, it was so, like, it was kind of embarrassing because 'cause I'm like, "I'm leaving this school. I'm gonna do online school." And then they kicked me out. They said, You can't," because I used to go on YouTube instead of doing my schoolwork. And so they're like,
Oh,
"You
I did
literally
that.
can't be here." Because like, I thought I could do the same thing I did in regular class, like, I wouldn't really pay attention, but I would still do the tests and stuff, but, like, they had you actually, like, put in assignments and stuff, and I guess if you're not actually in class, you can't really, like, work on it, so I just play on YouTube, and they're like, "You actually have to turn stuff in," and I'm like, "Oh."
I can't.
And then, I didn't do that, so they're like, "You have to go back," and then when I went back, everyone's like, "We missed you." I'm like, "You missed me, then why didn't you talk to me the entire time I was gone?"
Get
Huh?
them. Get their asses.
No, literally, I was calling them out. It was so
I
bad.
can't.
But I
I
don't know, I
was
just didn't have fun in middle school.
Yeah, middle school was a bit stressful for me because I was focused the entire time on trying to get into my high school.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but I don't know. I was not part of like the quote unquote popular crowd. I was in what the bullies at my school like to call the nerd herd, apparently.
They called it the nerd herd? No.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
Um, but like whatever.
Oh, so were you bullied in school?
Yeah, a bit.
I was bullied a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I was bullied more. I just don't remember it.
Oh.
But it was kind of weird though because like when I got older and like in high school or something, or like even in college, like um where am I going with this? I was just gonna say that like after middle school, like the guys that like bullied me, I guess they like liked me or something. It was
Oh, it
very
was one of those, like,
strange.
immature things where they're, like, mean to you because they like you,
I don't know, maybe.
or they made, like, a flip, they're like, "Mm."
Yeah, it was
I
like
don't know.
really weird. Like I don't know. The guys at my town school are so fucking stupid.
Mm.
And I don't know. Like it I've been like I'm trying to like remember and bring up things to talk
It's
about.
hard to remember school. For me, at least, I
Yeah.
block a lot of it out because it was traumatic for me.
Yeah. I mean, I just don't remember it because like I was kind of just trying to get by and like just focus on getting my work done, and I didn't really do anything, like it wasn't like I have any like crazy teenager stories. Like I didn't do
Same,
anything.
same. But I feel like since we didn't do all the crazy stuff in school, like, we didn't peak. You know what I mean? I feel like the people who really, like,
Yeah,
did with the parties, were the popular kids, like, I feel like they peaked.
yeah.
Although, I used to think I was a total loser because I would hang out in the library with, like, all the other kids during lunch, and, like, I feel like a complete outcast. I was once, like, after school, after I left and stuff, I was working at this place and I was talking to someone, and they told me I was popular. And I'm like, "In your head, maybe." Because I guess in some way, because school has such, like, a weird hierarchy, if you're more popular than one person, say you're not popular, but there's less popular people than you, then technically you
Mhm.
are still popular.
That's so weird. I see. I never like focus on the hierarchy, and it's funny because like at my school there really wasn't a hierarchy,
Mm,
despite the fact that like people wanted there to be, because like we were all aware that we're all theater majors here. We're all theater kids. So it's like there's nothing more embarrassing than being a theater kid, genuinely. So it's like if you're trying to like create a popularity hierarchy at a theater school or at like a performing arts school, like I'm sorry, we already lost. You know, like we're theater kids.
You wanna hear
Get
something
with the
funny?
program.
The
Or
theater kids were the popular kids at my school. I'm not even kidding, cause I didn't realize that other schools,
well, it's
like,
probably just
that wasn't
because like
a
it's probably
thing.
because the theater department at your school was like
It
fucking
was okay, the level
maxed
no, it
out.
literally was. It was like, our auditorium is, like, what we did everything in, like, they spent so much money on the auditorium, and, like, it was weird. They used to spend, like, just as much on sports as they would the theater program, so the sports kids, like, literally the footballers and cheerleaders would be the theater kids as well. So it was, like, really strange, and I used to think that was normal because, like, even my middle school was kinda like that, cause like, all the same kids would go from because our theater program at the middle school was pretty good as well, and they would work with the other people, so it was always, like, theater based, and, like, when I was talking to some, like, coworkers I had once when I lived in another town, they're like, "Oh, you were in theater?" And I'm like, "Yeah, like, us me and all the other kids," and I was like, "Yeah," but, like, some of the other, like, theater kids were super popular, and, like, they're like, "What do you mean?" Because 'Cause they're like, they were nerds at our school, and I'm like, "What? I don't get it."
Yeah.
Like, I just didn't realize, like, it's not the norm everywhere else.
Yeah, like theater kids,
Like,
you know,
stereotypically are, like, the
they're
outcasts,
kind of losers.
but I
But
genuinely didn't know that.
the thing is that with theater kids, like they don't really care about school hierarchy. It's all about the hierarchy within the theater group.
Mm.
Like theater kids are ruthless. Like holy shit. Cuz I went on to go to acting like in theater college and oh boy, that was oh my goodness. Theater people are just
So your experience with theater in college was a lot different than in high school, right?
yeah, I feel like people took it a lot less seriously in um I'm trying to think cuz like in high school like we obviously we took it seriously, but it was still fun, you
Yeah.
know? Like it wasn't like freaking life or death and people weren't acting like they were on Broadway. But then when I got to college in New York City doing theater, like all of a sudden you got a role in the musical or the play and you'd think that they were, you know, the lead actor in a freaking Arthur Miller play on Broadway.
So
Like,
they took it really seriously and it took the fun out of it for you, right?
yeah, it like
But a
it
pressure.
exactly. And like they a lot of them were so disrespectful. And the thing is I found that the most disrespectful, and I'm sorry if any of the people listening to this are musical theater people, but I found that the most disrespectful subgenre of musical theater, not musical theater, of theater kids, musical theater kids tend to be like the rudest in my experience. I don't know what it is. I There are very few musical theater people that I've gotten along with. And most times they're like musical theater acting hybrids, you know, like they're neither one nor. But like straight up musical theater people, I never really trusted them completely because they just have a vibe about them. I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but
It's the
like
stuck up thing.
yeah, they just have like a certain energy about them that like I don't know. I just like I feel like I couldn't tell them anything like secret, you know? And I remember when I was working costumes for one of my college's performances, it was The Who's Tommy. And I was doing costumes and I was helping with like quick change. And one of the actors in the musical, who was an upperclassman, um, he was like really rude, like so rude. And I was backstage like waiting for my next instructions and he had like a water bottle in his hand and he like put the water bottle out and like shoved me out of the way with the water bottle and was like,
What?
"Move, you're in my way." And I was
What?
like, "Oh my God." And he was just really rude and there were other people that were complaining about him. And I told this guy that was in my grade and my major that I was friends with, um I was like, oh my God, XYZ happened. Like I told him about the thing and he was like, oh my God, like we need to tell someone. Like that's not cool. And so he ended up telling like the head of costumes, and the head of costumes was like, what the fuck? And they like had a conversation with like the director and stuff like that. And they like chastised him
Oh,
because apparently he was like having tantrums and like screaming out and cursing up a storm. And they had like kid actors that they brought on to play like the younger version of
yeah.
Tommy, and like he was like stressing them out because he was being an asshole. It was
What? And this is
crazy.
just in college?
This was in college.
Oh,
Like I was like, "What?" I
it's
was like,
like calm
"Yeah,
down.
like it's literally not that serious. You're not getting paid for this. Like this is not Broadway, bro. We're at a private college that like is not like really known for anything."
But
Like,
also, I feel like if you're acting like that, you're gonna end up burning connections and like
yeah.
ruining your reputation. And I feel like that's
Yeah,
gonna
because
ruin
it's
your
like
chances at furthering your career.
he didn't know who I was.
Yeah.
What if I ended up
But
having
also, you're at a school
connections?
in New York. I'm sure there was tons of like people with parents who were like
Oh
really
yeah.
high up there. So
Oh
like,
yeah.
imagine he pissed off the wrong person.
Bro, like imagine my like grandfather was Martin Scorsese.
There probably was like someone similar to that at your school.
Yeah. I think, well, one of the girls that I was like kind of friends with is like an influencer.
Whoa.
She like did sponsored posts on Instagram and stuff like that. And I think, oh, there was someone else that I went to school with that made YouTube videos. It was weird. Going to school in New York is very strange.
Yeah, I feel like it would be.
It's really weird because like a lot of rich people go to school there.
Yeah.
And then when you're like not rich and are like barely making it by trying to have like a part-time job while also being a full-time student just to have money in your pocket. And then you hear about people like buying clothes every time they wear their clothes because they don't know how to do laundry. Like it's very disjointed. What was your favorite subject in school?
Theater.
Hmm.
If that's a subject. No, I feel like we have to do like the traditional. I liked
I said
reading and writing.
I would call it a subject, but let's do traditional.
Yeah, reading and writing because I was always really good at it. I used to get like the best, like, even though I'm dyslexic as hell, I used to get like the top scores in elementary school on all my writing because we would have to do like really big writing tests and they would go to the state and stuff. Really fun stuff. What about you?
I really liked English class because I liked especially when I got my junior year of high school, my English class. I loved that one specifically because a lot of it was focused on um early like old English writings, so like Beowulf and Canterbury Tales by Geoffrey Chaucer, and eventually like Shakespeare and stuff like that. We read the Scottish play in that class. And it was funny because at the same time I that we were learning the Scottish play, I was playing Hamlet in my school's production of Hamlet. So my English teacher, um, she like refused to let me read as like Lady Macbeth or any of the like main characters because she's like, you have to preserve your energy and your voice for the production of Hamlet. And I was like, I mean,
What?
real, but like also I'm a Leo rising. Can you please just give me like the number one part? I was like, we're in a class full of dancers. It's like, nothing against dancers, but like they didn't really like know how to read Shakespeare
Right.
in the way that like,
It's meant to be.
yeah, so it's like they were all like they were all like out damned spot, like I
The
was like
flat.
I was like this is the Scottish play. Like come on man, and I was over here with like one line. I was like this is torture. um but yeah, I loved that class.
So did you like
um
reading out loud when the class had to go and read?
yeah, I loved doing that ever since I was in elementary school.
I was
I
always
would
shooting bricks.
like count which paragraph I had. Like, you know, when you read like passages and stuff like that, like you read through like a page and each person gets like a
Yeah,
paragraph.
you would wait till it got to yours, and you're
Yeah,
like,
like I would, like if someone got called on to read the first passage, I would count which ones that I would get, and I would read through it a few times, and like so that when I get to it or when we got to it, like I was ready. And I would like sound out the words that I didn't know, and I would like make sure I had them right so I could like flex on everyone and be like, I'm smarter than all of you. No, not really. But like, yeah, I liked doing that. And I remember just I don't know, I just really liked English class all the time. And um it's funny though, because I was terrible about keeping up with summer reading. I
oh,
rarely did
really?
it. I rarely did it. I think the only time I really remember like reading a summer reading book was when um I read 13 Reasons Why.
Ooh.
I actually completed that one. I did it all the way through. The show is a nightmare. I tried watching it and I was like, this is the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. But the book, whoa, that was a page turner. That was crazy. But you said that you used to watch like YouTube videos during class. When I was in high school, I used to do that because we all had Chromebooks.
Oh
So
yeah,
it's like my friends and I, we would always like watch videos on like mute or Netflix on mute. We would watch that. I remember one time I was watching like 13 Reasons Why in class. I was like, I
yeah.
can't do this.
I used to watch stuff in class all the time.
Yeah.
They should never have introduced laptops into school like permanently because all we would do was like play on Skype and watch Netflix and send each other the answers to everything. And like
Yeah.
the teachers wouldn't do anything. They'd just be like, do this assignment. And then we all would just send each other the answers because they would find them on Google.
We would all like chat. My friends and I would chat on like Google Docs.
Oh yeah, you could do that too. I forgot about that.
And we had like a Google Doc that we all shared that we would like type in and stuff like that. Um, I used to play Mahjong. There was a website that had like solitaire, Mahjong, I think Spider Solitaire, what else? Just stuff like that. And I used to play Mahjong all the time. I still remember the site too. Like I go on there sometimes.
Do you
Or I would
remember
play.
coolmath.com?
Yeah, oh my god, we were on there. Oh my god.
Ah,
I used to play on there all the time. I used to play Penguin Diner in school.
oh yeah.
Yeah, specifically in like physics class. I loved my physics teacher though. He was so funny. He was like he was hysterical. Like he was kind of like a hard ass, but like in like a grumpy old man type of way. Like he was like a grumpy old man, but like you could tell he really liked physics. Like he was really passionate about it. And like he was like helpful, like he wanted to help you, but he was just a grumpy old man. And I he's so funny.
I feel like all science teachers are kind of weird.
Yeah, he was like kind of goofy. He like used to work at this like I forget where he used to work, but it was like the cool place and he would tell us stories about it. And um he was just like, I don't know, he was cool. He had a really cool accent. Like he was like he not like a foreign accent. Like he was from the US, but I couldn't tell where he actually was from. I think he's from New Jersey, but like he
Was
just
it
had a
like
really
a thick Jersey accent?
yeah, like he had a bit of a thick accent and it was just really funny.
He's like, I'm from Jersey.
Yeah, it was so funny though because like he just like didn't give a shit. Like
Oh, I love that.
he was a no bullshit kind of guy. And I remember one time on a school trip, he was the head of our like bus and he was doing like a roll call and he there was a kid I went to school with whose name was Stefano, and when my physics teacher was calling out the names, he said it Stefano. And
Oh.
so the kid was like, "Oh, it's Stefano." And my physics teacher went, "I don't care." And I just moved on. It was so funny.
No, that's hilarious.
He was so funny. So funny. There was Oh, there was I just remembered this. There was like a joke we had in our class with like SpongeBob. I just remember this. This is so funny. Oh my God, he would put SpongeBob in the most precarious situations and like, but it would be like 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 word problems.
Yeah, but it would
He
be with
would do those,
SpongeBob.
but it would be about SpongeBob. So he'd be like, SpongeBob jumps out of an airplane, and it would set us off
It's like, why
so
is he
much.
doing that?
It was so funny. It was the funniest shit. It was like, so, and then he would draw SpongeBob, like he would
No, that is
draw it,
funny.
and like it was so great. I miss him. I mean, I
Oh,
did very poorly in that class, but that's because physics and math are not my strong suit. But like I understood it, but like the math I couldn't. I was very bad at it. Like I just math was just in general not good for me. I
mm.
passed the class, but it was difficult for me. But I missed that class because it was just really funny. I'm trying to think of other classes that, oh, I remember in my history class when we learned about the Red Scare and like the 50s and 60s, like the McCarthy trials and stuff like that. Um, as like an immersive kind of experience, the two like history teachers, they like had classes right by each other, so they were right at like the end of the hall. So one of them was like right at the end and the other one was like kind of like adjacent. um and they were like really good friends too. So what they did was they organized this like game, so to speak, where they would choose a spy in their class, in each of like the different classes that they had, and the spy had to like pass messages between the two teachers, and the whole
Oh,
thing was just to teach us about like an immersive experience during like the Red Scare section and stuff like that. And so every class we would hold a trial if any of us like developed any theories and stuff like that. And I remember one time I was never picked to be the spy, and I was really upset about that. So I decided to be like really suspicious, despite not being the spy. I don't know. But I just thought it was really funny. So I was like typing in like my email and being like really suspicious. And they called me on trial for it.
to be the spy.
Yeah, they're
Aw.
like, oh my God, Dan is a spy. And I was like, I don't know, maybe. And then I get on trial and they were like asking me all these questions. And then my teacher's like, are you the spy? And I was like, no. And they were like, what? It was so funny. I was just bored and I don't know. I'm a Leo rising, okay? Sometimes
My
I like
schools
attention.
never did anything fun like that because I don't know. I don't think they did this in New Jersey, but in Florida we have this thing called Common Core. So
Yeah.
every class
Oh,
in
we had
Florida,
that.
oh, you have that too? So
Yeah.
every class everywhere in Florida had to be learning the exact same thing at the exact same time, the exact same lesson, and they couldn't be like any other way. So we couldn't do like fun stuff. It'd always be by the book.
Oh. Well, for us, it wasn't like that restricting. It was just like they had to teach that, but they weren't really told like how to do it. But
Oh,
I do remember another one of like the wild ways that we did a lesson or a unit was when we were learning about the 20s. We did something called Speakeasy, and it was a 4-day event. And basically each of our like classes were like broken up into like, was it 4 days or was it two? Oh, it was 2 days. I'm sorry, it was 2 days. um and so one half of like the blocked out classes had one day and the other half had the other. So what we did was we each had to choose a person from the 1920s to learn about and like research, and then we had to dress up like them and pretend to be them.
oh, that's
And
cool.
we had to perform like skits that were like educational and like teach us about like the person or whatever. And so it was like all split up into like the different subcategories of the 20s. So there was the Harlem Renaissance, there was like the science boom, there was the mafia, fashion, entertainment, movies, like the music industry and stuff like that. So I my person I think was Helen Kane. Um and she well, I know this now, but she claimed that her performance um act was ripped off to do Betty Boop. But the gag is, Betty Boop was based on, oh my god, what's her name? Betty Boop was based on a black female
Yeah.
performer that Helen Kane kind of ripped off, I think.
Hmm.
Um, and obviously Helen Kane ended up, she like even sued the creators of Betty Boop. And uh I'm looking up
Imagine
her
being
name.
that bold
Yeah. Okay.
when you
Her
know
name
you ripped it
is
off of someone else, and then
okay.
you're like, they based it on me.
Yeah, and then like but they were like, no, we didn't.
Yeah.
The woman that they ripped off Betty Boop from was Esther Lee Jones, or
Yeah.
she's known as Baby Esther. Um, but Helen Kane kind of like copied her, and then Betty Boop happened. Um, but yeah, so like I I learned how to do like a Betty Boop impersonation, and so I had to spend the whole day like doing it, and it's
Do it
like
right
a
now.
no. It's funny because when I'm bored, I don't know if you do this, but like when I'm bored and I have a song stuck in my head the entire day, I start like singing it to myself in weird ways.
Oh yeah.
Um, and sometimes I had this like period where like I had Arctic Monkey songs stuck on my head because that was all I was listening to, and I would get like bored of just singing them normally, so I would sing them in a Betty Boop voice.
Oh my god.
It was so funny, and I remember doing it for this friend of mine, and he was like, "That's so weird and funny," and I was like, "This is just a party trick that I have now." But yeah, I mean, my high school was fun. It was stressful, but I don't have a negative experience there.
Mm,
Um, my college, on the other hand,
the negative experience.
my college made me dislike acting, which is saying something.
Because that was your passion.
Yeah, I'd been doing it since I was in elementary school, since I was like 5, basically. I did my first play when I was like 5. And then I did it all the way up until my second year of college. And I was like, I can't do this anymore. I hate it. And that
If
was kind
anything,
of
you were
sad.
probably burnt out from it.
Oh, I was so burnt out.
Yeah.
I had a, I was, oop, I'm like off screen because like I keep on putting my foot under the laptop. But I was like trying to balance being a full-time student and being a part-time, having a part-time job, and trying to make outside like studio times and trying to complete work. And oh my God, it was a lot. And
Was
then
it
just
tough
being in
because
the
you had to
city.
take like your regular classes with like the acting too, right?
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
like it wasn't just acting classes. It was like I had to take the GED requirements. And honestly, like I would have completed them all had I not failed my logic class, which was for like psychology, I think. Um so, if I wanted to go back to school now, I would have been able to just complete the major classes, but now I have like one science class or psychology class, whatever it was, that I would need to complete should I decide to go back to school, which I don't think I will.
Mm,
Um, Even though I would love to just go back to school, just to like, I don't know, have something to do. Maybe if I
fair.
had money.
No, literally. I've always been thinking like maybe one day I'll go to college or something because even though I dropped out, I did get my GED, so I am able to go to like a community college and stuff. But I genuinely cannot think of like one thing I would want to spend my money to go and
Yeah.
do that on
If
because
I
I
did,
feel like
yeah.
there's no job that I would ever want to go and
Yeah.
get a degree for, even though it would most jobs you get a degree for, you will end up making, like, a good salary, but it's like, I cannot think of one thing I can do that I would wanna go to school for and get that.
Yeah.
And I thought
I
the
mean,
same thing from when I was in high school. I'm like, I will never probably go to college, that's why I didn't mind dropping out. But it's
mhm.
like, at the same time, like, I just don't know what I would even do.
Yeah. I mean, I if I had the disposable income to, I would just go to college to learn more about something I was passionate about.
Yeah.
Like I would go to college to learn about like Shakespeare and theater and like
You gotta do that
classical
abroad.
theater. Yeah, like I would go to a school, I would 100% go to a
You actually
university
could
in the
do that.
UK. I 100% could, probably. But like,
Yeah.
and I would love to do that and like just like fuck around and get my master's in like classic literature or like Shakespeare studies or whatever. And my mom has told me like, oh, maybe you should look into being like a teacher because I don't know. Like a lot of people have like told me that like people would ask me to explain a Shakespeare play if we read it in class and I would break it down. They'd be like, wait, that makes so much sense. And I know a friend of mine asked me to break down what King Lear was about. Um and my mom, and I've done it for my mom too. We went to see because there's a place in New Jersey called the Shakespeare Theater New Jersey, and my mom and I love to go see shows there. And so when we would see, this is but pre-COVID by the way, when we would see like Shakespeare shows, she would ask me to like break down what exactly happens, or like at intermission she'd be like, okay, so what the fuck happened, and like I would explain it to her.
Explain. You would translate it all for
I
her.
would. I would translate it. But and I like to do it because I find Shakespeare to be very entertaining and very interesting. And my mom has been like, why don't you be like a teacher
Be
since
a
you enjoy.
professor.
Yeah, and I was like, well, maybe I could be a professor. I wouldn't want to teach young kids.
No,
I
also they don't
think
make
I
enough
would.
money.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Think about the
I think
stress you put up with teaching young kids and like
yeah,
not
especially
equaling out to
since
what you
like
make.
some parents think teachers are glorified babysitters with the way that they teach them, or not teach them, treat them. But I think
Yeah.
I would just personality wise, I think I'm more suited to be like a professor.
Yeah.
Um,
I could see you doing that.
but I don't know if I'd want that to be my life, you know? Because that
Well,
would be
I
a
feel
lot of
like
school.
it would be a lot of school, but I also feel like some professors only do like one class a week.
Yeah, I guess.
So it wouldn't take up your life after the point of finishing school.
Yeah.
But that's a lot to like think about before actually like
Yeah.
going through with it.
And like but the thing is that like I just don't know if I would want to put all that money and time into something because I'm unsure about it. I'm like, I don't know if I want to be a
It's more
teacher.
of like a whim rather
Yeah, it's
than
more of
something
like
you
I guess I could do that, you
really thought
know,
about.
but
Yeah.
it's not like something I was like I've been wanting to do since I was younger, you know. I would just love to learn about Shakespeare and like I don't know, have an
Do you
excuse
know
to
what would be like the most fulfilling for you? Or have you
what.
not like figured that out yet?
Oh, do I know what would be the
Yeah,
most
I'm just asking because I don't know for myself.
I don't know. See, the thing is, my problem is I want to do everything.
Yeah,
I have so many interests in so many areas
it's hard
where
to go down one path.
I excel or I want to, you know, I have a passion towards that. I want to be like everything, you know, like I want to continue doing our podcast. I want to learn guitar and start our band. I want to, I don't know, go into the fashion industry. I want to be in the beauty industry. I want to make videos on YouTube. I want to do all of these things all at once because that's just how I am. I've like never been the type of person that can just settle on one thing. Like there's just a million things that I want to do and be and fill my time up with all my interests and passions in one way or another, you know, like but and the hard part is that what I want all these things that I want to do aren't things that you really go to school for, you know.
Yeah,
It's not like someone who's like I love astronomy or I love astrophysics, you know, or I have an interest in that. They can go to school to that for that and get excuse me and get degrees in that, and you know that's what they do. But like I've always been a performer. I've always liked performance and creativity and wanting to be a performer and wanting to create in some way, shape, or form. Which is why being in college for acting was difficult because a lot of it got like reduced down to like writing papers and shit like that. And it's like,
yeah.
I get that, but I just didn't see the merit in writing a 12-page paper on like a 2.5-page scene where it's like, you know, how is this helping me? This doesn't help me at all. This doesn't serve me at all in
You
like
did not feel
how.
like it was strengthening your skills or like
Yeah, I just felt
fulfilling
like
what you went there
it
to
was
do.
one more thing for me to stress over. And so I
Yeah.
was thinking more about getting that paper done than actually thinking about the scene and trying to do something with it. And I just at some point I just felt like I wasn't putting enough into the scenes, and then imposter syndrome of like, why am I here with these people? They're all trying and I'm not, you know?
I feel like sometimes college is just there for connections.
And that sucks,
Yeah,
you know?
because it's like, well, if you don't have the money to go to college, you can't have those connections, and it feels like there's such a
Exactly.
barrier.
I just feel, and even if you do go to college and have those connections, there's already like, I don't know. I don't know if you've noticed this, but I feel like it's like every week I'm finding out someone else my age that is like in the performance industry, and like I feel like I'm finding out they're somehow connected. Like they're like somehow nepo babies.
Yeah, like out
Like
of
the
nowhere too. It's like people you would
yeah,
never expect.
exactly. And it's not even, and it's not that I'm like discrediting their talent. Like there are quite a few people that do have connections and that are quote unquote nepo babies, but they are talented in
Yeah.
what they do, and they have created some like great stuff, and
I'm
like
not
off
gonna
the
lie,
top.
I haven't seen anyone come out of, like, nowhere in a long time. Like, I genuinely
Yeah,
can't name one person that came out of nowhere.
exactly. And like I, especially in our age group, like I
Yeah.
and I kind of realized that a while ago, and that kind of bummed me out because I was like, how can I expect to make it anywhere
Mhm.
if like I'm already at a disadvantage?
I wouldn't even say it just with acting, it's like anything. Even with music, it's all, like it all feels
Yeah.
set up. Like, everything feels
Somehow,
so
yeah,
set
it's
up.
like it feels like somewhat like the people in the industry somehow are like related to someone, you know?
Mhm.
And I feel like it's very few, there are very few modern artists now, I think, that are not connected in some way already. Like, there are a lot of artists from like years ago, even 10 years ago, that maybe they weren't and they actually did come up. But like like I can't think of any that I'm 100% certain,
Yeah.
and it's strange. Cuz it's like
It's
I
like
don't care, you know? I don't
yeah.
care if someone's like a I really don't care. But it is kind of disheartening when you're trying to make it into that um industry, when you're trying to
Because then
break
it
out
feels
into
like
that
you're set up to
industry.
fail
Yeah, it
if
feels
you
like I'm
don't have
already
these
at a
connections, if you don't
disadvantage.
know those people already. Because
Yeah,
it's like they're already set in there, like, how? Like, I don't
yeah,
get it.
it's kind of disheartening because it's like, yeah, like it's like I'm already disadvantaged. I don't know anyone, you know? It sucks. And it's like I kind of had that realization, and I had the realization that I didn't love theater anymore, and it was sad because it's like it just felt like everywhere I turned I was like, what's the point if, I'm not going to be successful because I'm not related to someone famous, or successful in some kind of way. Especially since like I also don't come from money. So it's like I need a job that
No,
isn't
for real,
what
it
I
feels
want to
like if you
do.
don't know someone who's already or, like, connected by your parents, and if you're not connected by money, it's like, "N
You're
then
kind of
what?"
fucked.
No, literally, it's like, I genuinely can't think of, like, super successful people, even, like, moderately successful people in the industry who came from nothing or came
Yeah.
from an average life.
Hmm.
'Cause every time you think about it, it's like, well, this person, like, say someone like Clairo, like, I used to think, "Oh, Clairo's bedroom pop, she came from her bedroom because that's how she set it up." Even though I love Clairo, then you find out her father knows all these people, and that's how she got into the
Yeah.
industry. And it's like, well, then you find another artist
Yeah,
that's
and
just
that's
like
not
it.
to say, and then she is talented. Like I
Oh,
love
yeah,
her
no, I
music,
love Clairo.
but
Clairo's
it's
one of my
like
favorites.
it's weird like when you find that out,
Yeah.
because it's like, oh, it kind of
It
forces
breaks
you.
the illusion too, because like, I feel like
Exactly.
not to put her under the bus, but, like, the way she was set up, it looked so like she did it herself.
Yeah, it looks a certain
Even though there
way.
was a little bit of a hand in there. Not to say she didn't work herself and, like,
Yeah.
put in stuff, but I there definitely was other things at play.
Yeah, there were other aspects going for that.
But yeah, it's so weird how, like, I don't know, it's so hard to turn, like, even from school to passion to, like, success. Where does
Yeah.
it go?
Especially since nowadays, like school, like, I mean, let's not pretend to be naive here. Like the American school system, and probably other school systems, they're like set up to prepare you for 9 to 5.
Yeah.
And like they're set up to prepare you to like sit and just do the same shit over and over again that I'm currently doing right now. And it sucks, especially when you know for a fact that you don't fit into that lifestyle. because I'm having a hard time at work because I know that as a person, that's not a job and a lifestyle that I fit in. And it's just reminding me of like the emotions and feelings I had at school, except now I don't have any respite from it. I don't have a theater class I can go to or a rehearsal I can go to. I just come home and I'm tired as hell
Mhm.
and like try to find a way to pass the time until I go to sleep. And then I
Yeah,
wake up
it's
and I do
really
it all
hard
over
to find
again.
anything you enjoy because you get so tired after work, especially because with the
Exactly.
9 to 5 thing, your day's already gone.
Yeah, the whole day.
And you're like, well, now I don't really feel like doing the things that I actually want to do because I want to go to sleep because I have to wake up early.
Yeah, like you're tired, you know? And it's like I'm trying to like learn guitar like right now and I'm doing great, but it's just like I don't know, is you just get so discouraged
Yeah.
because you think of all that and then you get home and you're like tired and then it's like already 7 o'clock, 7:30, and you're like, I have to figure out what I want for dinner. And it's like by then, you finish eating, it's like 8:39 and you're like, oh my God, like
That's why I miss being a
uh
child because I feel like I had
yeah.
all the time in the world. I feel like I
Yeah.
did like a million things in a day. Now it's hard to find time to do like one thing I enjoy.
One. Yeah. I'm just so like burnt out.
Yeah,
I feel like I've been going nonstop for like my whole life. And it sucks because
sure.
it's like, I'm trying to learn guitar and I'm trying to learn languages and trying to find different hobbies that don't involve going on my phone or watching a movie or, you know, whatever. And it's like I'm having fun learning the guitar and I'm getting really far and, but like it's almost like then I just remember like, oh, I feel like I'm not going to get anywhere with this because I would love to have a band. Like I would love for us to start our band, but like I don't know. It's just I feel like we have to get like famous first and then start it, you know? It's like
Yeah, it's
I'm
hard.
trying to work it out. I'm like, how do I make this work, you
It's
know?
hard to get even groundwork done when it's like how do you get to a point after that?
Yeah. And especially coming from like places of like we don't have any we don't have any connections to like the industry that we want to get into.
Mhm.
So it's like how do we do this, in a timely
Yeah,
manner? That's not going to take us 40 years to even make a dent, but
it's tough. I feel
whatever.
like sometimes it's just hard work too.
Yeah,
Because I feel like there is the side where hard work does pay off, but then there's also a side where you could work so hard your whole life and it never will pay off.
exactly.
So that's why you have to find, I don't know, just the pleasures. And even if you don't get successful in things, even if you don't find like a big passion in life, maybe a career, or you don't go to school for something that you wanted to, you could always like find something like
Mm-hmm.
to enjoy. Because I always used to think, well, since I didn't go to school, like further my education, now I can't get a good job. Now I can't have a good life. I used to think like that all the time. Then I'm like, no, I still can. Like
Yeah,
that's
it's possible.
it's ingrained into like everyday life that you need a good job, like a good career, and you have to go to school to get that. But I
Hmm.
feel like why does it have to be a good life to have all those things? You could
Yeah,
have an
and
okay job and, like, do things you love to do and hang out
yeah,
with people you love and then
and
enjoy things.
like I feel like school is not the end all be all.
Yeah.
So if you're like currently in school, or I guess it's like school's gonna start up again.
Yeah, it's
Like,
about to start.
don't I mean, like, obviously, like, try to pay attention and try to hand in your work on time and stuff like that. But like,
Don't
don't
stress it.
don't take it so seriously.
It's
If
literally once you're out of school, it literally doesn't matter.
it
Like, I
doesn't,
don't think about school, like besides now, I haven't thought about school in so long. Like,
yeah,
genuinely, like, don't stress it, like, take it easy and enjoy what you have while you have it.
exactly. If you're
Sometimes
like,
enjoy being young.
enjoy being a kid while you can. Especially with like what's going on in the world. Like it feels like everywhere you turn, it's like Jesus Christ. But don't let like don't let the culture of school convince you that if you don't get an A on something or if you don't get a good grade, it's like your life is over. It's not. I've failed classes before. I've gotten failing grades before. I've not done very well, and I'm still alive,
For real.
like the
Because it
world is
can feel like the end of the world because they
it
put so much
can.
stress on you and
They
so much
put a lot of
pressure.
pressure.
And they
Yeah.
act like it's life, but school is not life. Like,
Yeah.
it's literally somewhere you have to be. Like, at least, like, before college, like, you have to be there. But it's
Yeah.
like, who cares? Like, if you
Yeah.
enjoy getting good grades, if you have, like, a track you wanna get on, obviously, stay on that kinda stuff. But, like, you don't have to kill yourself over it.
Yeah, don't sweat if you don't get an A all the time. Like, I got into a a good college, like, I got into almost all the colleges I applied to, and I had, like, some of the grades that I had were C's. Like, it's literally not that big of a deal. So, like, I mean, keep calm, like, don't let it get ahead of you. Don't let the culture of it convince you that, like, you need to get A's on every single assignment because when you get into the real world, that's literally not gonna matter. Like, I
Nothing's
literally
graded in the real world.
bro, I lied on my application for my job about having, like, a college degree or something. Like, I just, like, kind of fabricated, you
Fluffed
know?
it up.
Yeah, and I got the job. Like,
Yeah.
no one checked.
No one checks anything with
No one
jobs, like,
checked.
genuinely.
I lied about being certified in Excel. No one checked. Like, no one gives
They
a
never
shit.
will.
There's only a few jobs that would actually give a shit about a degree, and that's like doctors and like other medical professionals and probably a teacher. But like
Mhm.
other than that,
That's also, like, an interesting thought because it's like most jobs really don't require school at all, like, the ones that you see every day. 'Cause I
yeah.
feel like most jobs are, like, working somewhere at Walgreens or, like, working at, like, a restaurant because those are what, like, everyday things. At least where I live, like,
Mm-hmm.
when you step out the house, there's what you'll see is, like, fast food or, like, a convenience store or something. Those are, like, the real jobs, like, beyond that, it's like, I feel
Yeah. I feel like there's very few jobs that realistically need school.
yeah.
Like, I don't think you need to go to school to be like a to work at like an office.
Most receptionist jobs, you don't need to do anything. You could literally be a potato. You could be a potato in a rock and work at those places. No, literally, and you get paid, like, a decent wage. I feel like
Yeah.
receptionist jobs at offices are, like, pretty chill.
Yeah. Well, school,
School I
man.
love how that went to so many different places where we're both
That
so burnt out or, like, out of it
we
right now.
are.
We're
We're
like,
both really out of it and
yeah.
like it's
We were trying to
just
make it interesting, but we're like, I feel like
yeah.
also thinking about school put us in, like,
Yeah.
mood.
And I just think that I don't know.
But yeah, do what makes you happy, don't stress about it.
Yeah,
Lesson learned today.
school, that old mixed bag.
Mm-mm-mm.
And have
And if you enjoy
fun.
school, then that's good too.
Yeah.
You
But
don't have
like
to hate it.
find ways to have fun
Mhm.
and like go outside and like breathe fresh air and touch grass.
Talk to your friends. I feel like friends are probably the most important part of school.
Yeah.
Making connections with those kind of people and having memories
But also
that
like
will stick with you.
if you leave high school and you don't talk to your high school friends ever again, that's
That's okay
okay.
too.
That
I do not talk to
happens.
anyone from high school.
Me neither. I don't really talk to many people from high school.
And that doesn't mean you hate these people. That just means your life moved in a different direction.
Yeah, and like people grow apart and that chapter of your life is closed and those
Yeah.
characters have closed with it. So, you know, it's okay. You'll make new friends if you go to college. You'll make new friends if you go to a job. Like you'll find ways to make new friends somehow.
Yep.
And you'll find that the people that you grow close with tend to come in the most unlikely places.
Like we met
Like
on the
we did.
internet. Like
We met on the
literally.
internet. And I have another close friend that I met through a job. So it's like you never know where you're going to meet
And
your
meet
best
people.
friend.
Yeah.
Your friend that's going to be with you for the next 40 years. You never know that. You never know where you're going to meet your maid of honor or your I don't know what it is for grooms. Best
Groomsmen.
man, your
Oh,
best man.
I mean groomsmen?
Yeah, you don't know, you don't
You
know.
never know.
You never know. But
That's
yeah.
life, baby.
Fuck school.
No, I honestly I believe in
Low
that.
key. fuck
It's
student
whatever.
loans. You know
Oh,
what it
for
is? It's
sure.
fuck student loans.
Fuck the
It's
American school system because I don't care. It's a trap. It's a
literally,
trap, bro.
it
It's a trap.
is.
They
Like
set you all up to try to like be in debt
yeah,
without actually letting you pursue what you actually want.
no.
They're giving you time to do it.
They give pay breaks to rich people and then are like, no, you have to pay back what you owe to the poor people. And then they charge you interest so that you never actually pay it back. And they take all your money and then get mad when you don't have money to spend. And
It's so
then
messed up.
and then they price gouge you and they cause inflation and then they blame it on you because you want more wages even though they haven't raised wages in like years. But I digress. The American school
School is a
system
thing.
is kind of a scam.
It is, yeah.
School is a bit of a scam, but it's also not. Get your education because
Yeah,
a lot
definitely
of,
get an
especially
education.
nowadays, a lot of people do not have any common sense. They do not have any literacy. They do not have any clue.
Don't got a thought
So
behind those eyes.
not a single thought between those ears. So get your education.
Yep,
Stay in
that's the
school,
message from us.
kids. And
Have a good
um
day, night,
yeah,
whenever you're listening
wherever
to
you
this.
are.
Alright. Bye.
Yeah.